One of us. One of us. One of...
Great showing. You guys suck and you cheated.
Oh, we're recording? I didn't know we were recording.
It is the biggest transfer or free agent signing in the history of the United States in any sport. What is up, everybody? Welcome back for the 24th episode of Ride the Pine, presented by the Benchwarmers Podcast Network. I am Sean Sproat. Joining me, of course, is Adam Freeman, Cameron May, Kenny Hutton. What's up, guys? How's it going?
No,
Is this our Kobe episode?
This is
Oh,
our
it's
Kobe
Kobe.
episode.
No, it's Ken Griffey Jr. Get it right.
Ah, yeah. Junior would be a much better one.
Both
But
of those
Kobe,
are acceptable answers. Both of those are.
Wait, what about Jeff Gordon?
No,
Nobody
Okay.
cares about Jeff Gordon.
Continue.
absolutely not. No.
I can't believe we've made it this far. I feel like we've done at least 50 of these and only released half of them.
Yeah, for real.
Pretty accurate.
By the way, if you listen to last week's episode, it just randomly starts where we just go right into UFC talk. There's no intro. There's nothing whatsoever. That's because the recording messed up, and it may or may not have been my fault. So, I'm sorry.
You blew it!
It was. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about our first topic. And I don't know how we can lead with anything else besides Leo Messi, who's just absolutely lighting it up down in Miami. I don't know if you've heard, but he has 7 goals in 4 games in Leagues Cup and looks like he's 23, not 36 or however old he is. This is incredible, right? What he's doing for Miami, they look completely different. They actually might legit win this thing. And I think one of you guys called it out on one of our last episodes saying that they would win Leagues Cup. I think, Kenny, was that you?
I think it was me and Kenny.
Ooh. No, Cameron, I think you said US Open Cup.
No, I said open, make a run at this one. That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
I would just like to point out that Sean's burner account, MLS Buzz on Twitter, I will not call it X. It is Twitter.
Yes.
Tweeted out 22 hours ago, Messi is now the leading goal scorer for Inter Miami in 2023. He's played 3.5 games.
Which, not even that. He has 7 goals in 4 games. He is tied for 4th most goals in Inter Miami history. Now, their history goes back to 2018, so it's not like they're like a storied club or anything. But the only 3 players ahead of him, Gonzalo Higuain has 29, Leo Campana, who's on the team, has 16, and Kenny, your favorite player, Robert Taylor, has 8.
Oh,
So,
Robert Taylor looks like a completely different athlete. Not
Completely.
just a soccer player. Athlete, in general. Totally different person than when he played, 2 weeks ago here in St. Louis?
what's probably going to happen is because of Messi, they're going to turn around and sell him in the winter for like $15 million, and he's going to go to Arsenal or Chelsea or some big club and just never even see the light of day. That's
And they're going to say,
gonna
we
happen.
paid this?
Exactly.
That would be a Chelsea move.
oh God, shut up. Shut up. It's bad enough we play Liverpool on Sunday. Do I have to deal with the slander already?
Yes, you do.
Yes,
and it's
you
going to
sure
happen
do.
for the rest of the season. No, but if Messi is on pace to break their scoring record to be their number 1 goal scorer in their history in 13 games, does he do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You think he does it? He gets more than 29 goals in 13 games.
I think he
That's-
might
no,
this
no,
year. Not in 13
no,
games. He will this year, though. I have a feeling he does.
At this point, he cannot be stopped by an MLS keeper on a set piece. Or free kick, whatever you want to call it. He cannot be stopped. That goal yesterday at, the 85th minute was beautiful. It was beautiful. You can't argue
It's amazing
otherwise.
how accurate it is. You couldn't put the ball in the corner any better than he did right there. Legitimately could not have handed it into the corner and got it in.
He puts that ball half an inch up or down, or up or to the right. It hits the post. It was insane.
It was perfect, and the FC Dallas coach said, I'm going to paraphrase. I don't remember the exact quote, but he said the only way you can stop him on free kicks is he either hits it over and you get lucky, or his leg falls off, or something like that. I think he equated it to Leo Messi taking a free kick is like any other player in the world taking a penalty kick. He's gonna put it in the back of the net 85% of the time. But let's talk about that game, because this was Leo Messi's first away game in the league since he's come over to MLS. So first travel, first hotel, first away meals, all that. They get the win, 4-4. They were down 4-2. Actually, kind of break it down real quick. Leo scored in the 6th minute. Dallas actually gets 2 goals just before the half to go into the half, 2-1. They get a third one in the 63rd minute by Argentinian Alan Velasco, who is incredible. And then Messi happens again, and they come back. They tie it 4-4, and they win on PKs. At this point, I don't know if they can lose. I said in our last recording that they were going to lose this game, and I was wrong. I was pretty damn close, though.
Does he get the assist on the own goal by Farfan?
No.
I think he should, right?
No.
He has to. I mean,
No.
I still
don't
think
do that.
when he did, Jess came in like 5 minutes later and she goes, "Holy crap, this game is absolutely like crazy." And I go, "Yeah, look at this header that this guy put in. He did this on purpose. He almost put it through the back of the net."
Dude,
and she
feel
goes,
so
"Oh yeah,
bad
that looks fake."
I
So
feel
what's
so
with the
bad
whole
for him.
conspiracy that MLS is conspiring with Liga MX to make sure Messi wins the League Cup? Is that just a tactical manager? I hate to give him free pub, just being a dumb shit, or I probably shouldn't have cussed this early. Or is that just like him being him? Like, do people actually believe that this is rigged?
I believe he's InfoWars soccer guy, right?
Correct. Yes.
Him and Alex
100%. Yeah. No, that is not. No, that is ridiculous. If you believe that, I feel genuinely sorry for you, because that's just
But you
an extremely
did
dumb
hear
take.
that they hired the NFL scriptwriters, right? You know that, right?
Oh, they did? I must have missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. I don't think you recorded that part of it.
I wasn't.
okay, I must have
I
missed
wasn't
that.
even watching yesterday when you guys were texting back and forth. I was like, "Oh, I guess I got to watch this game now." And they scored, and I'm like, "Messi free kick, here it comes!" And within 30 seconds of me launching Apple TV, free kick. Now, what I will say is that defender. What a play! What an idiot! How do you trip Messi? You're an idiot. Stay away from him.
I mean, what else are you going to do to stop him? If you don't trip him, he's just going to go right around you.
Okay, maybe he has a bad
No,
angle
that's
shot.
not a good thing. You don't want him to go around you.
You just gave
Yeah,
him
that happened in the 6th minute. We saw what happened
Correct.
there, too.
You gave him a free kick from a dangerous spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of it like hockey defense. Like you push him to the outside, and the angle decreases, and then the odds are less, right? But you gave him
carries
a
over.
center ice shot.
Yeah, but I forget what exactly brought it when we were all texting back and forth about it. Dallas shut him down for 65, 70 minutes. I mean,
Well,
they
except for the
did
6th minute, but
Except for the
Well,
one
yeah,
goal,
he scored in the 6th, and then really Dallas controlled that match until late in the
Yeah.
late 70 minutes, somewhere around there. So, I mean, they did kind of do that, Kenny. They kept it to where they were trying to move the ball through Messi instead of around Messi, and it wasn't working. Dallas wasn't letting them do it. So, I think they did shut him down, but then they just made stupid errors in the end of it.
It was
They
kinda
even got a
ultimately
Robert
my-
Taylor own goal.
Yeah, that was kind of ultimately my point. Is like, yeah, he scores in the 6th minute, but then he doesn't make an impact again until you let him make the impact.
Right.
well, you notice what they did is Dallas had a really good game plan on it. Every single time Miami would kind of progress the ball up, they would take a center back, they would take Nkosi Tafari and literally just sit on Messi's shoulder and wouldn't let him turn. And Nkosi would just literally just keep him in front and just walk with him. And it worked for, sans 6 minute, it worked for a very long time. Dallas was up 3-1 at one point. They were up 4-2 at one point, and they blew it. I mean, at the end of the day, Messi is an incredible player, but Dallas probably should have won this game. You have to avoid, if you have to play a perfect game to beat Messi, you have to avoid all of those mistakes. And we're at that point now where, yes, he's 36, yes, he's older, yes, he's not going to play 90 minutes every single game, but if he is on the field, you have to play perfect. And Dallas didn't do that.
Yeah, I do have to know, how have people not put it together yet to just don't let Messi go left? Don't let him push to his left side. How hard is it to just have someone on his, like, if you're boxing him out, I don't care. Let him go towards the goal if it's on his right. I mean, he's going to cut left every time, and everyone still bites right.
Cameron,
I know his
that
head fake is good, but
that is way easier said than done.
I just
don't even think
so
Twellman brought up a great point during the broadcast is that with Jordi Alba and Messi both being left-footed, that because Alba plays on his left side, it's a lot easier to see him coming from the left side. Right. So Messi can make those cuts across to the left, and it's coming on his back foot, which is that sounds funny. Which is Cameron got it finally. It took a second, but he got it. But the ball gets placed perfectly right there, and you can't stop it. If he puts it on net, it's going in the net. I mean, and honestly, they probably should have won that game in the 95th minute if he doesn't ring that free kick off of whoever's head it was on the wall.
That was in Kosi Tafari. Hit him in the back of the head, and he saw stars. Yeah. He was definitely out for a moment. Yeah.
He wasn't as out as Tim Anderson, though.
Well, no.
Close. Sidebar, speaking of Tim Anderson, y'all see he got suspended for 6 games for getting knocked the fuck out?
How do you get your ass kicked and get suspended longer than the guy who kicked your ass?
That's just bad luck. And the best part of that is the ump that's like, no. All right, you guys go. It just lets him go.
He realized what was happening. He was like, nope, I don't get paid enough for this. Nope.
No. That man made a business decision, and it was the right one for everybody.
It was.
I was just going to say, Adam will get this reference. Stipe, gets worked by Ngannou, and they suspend Ngannou like 9 months medical. They're like, oh, Stipe, you're fine. Like,
Ngannou didn't break a sweat.
Dude is
so the other part,
Tweety Bird.
I know
the other part of this Messi thing. So obviously he brings over Busquets. He now has Alba with him. Apparently now you have the rumor of Neymar still wants out of PSG, and he's been already rumored to go to MLS. And now Mbappe today is being rumored that he wants to come to the MLS. Is this just going to get out? I don't want to say out of hand, but how crazy is this going to get if this really happens?
We said it when the Messi rumor was confirmed. We said that this was going to be like the catalyst for a bunch of moves to come to MLS, and it's going to force them to change their roster rules. This is what's happening. This is the start of it. I don't think Neymar comes to MLS because he really wants to go back to Barcelona, even though Xavi at Barcelona has said that he doesn't really fit into the team. I think they'll figure out a way to bring him back. I don't know how because they have less money than I do. But I do think the Mbappe rumors, where there's smoke, there might be fire. I don't think it's Miami. I could definitely see one of the New York teams. I would love to see him go to like Montreal because that's a perfect fit. I don't think that would happen, but I could see Red Bull New York or NYCFC.
I just think the quote with it is completely weird. Like Garber coming out and saying that Mbappe wants to come to the MLS. Okay, how about a team says Mbappe wants to come to St. Louis or Chicago or Kansas City?
LOL.
LOL, yeah, all of those. LOL on those.
Single entity league. Like, that's just how it works. And there were rumors way back in the day. I'm talking like 2000, 2005 that MLS would sign players out of Europe, and they would literally flip coins between cities to see where that they would let them go to. I don't know how true that is, but that sounds like something MLS would do.
Well, if I was Columbus, I'd be looking into that shit right now.
So
no one wants to go to Columbus. It's in Ohio.
While I ultimately agree with that, it is
or Cincinnati
bullshit that they what was it? What were they going to be over like $6 million?
For what? For Zelarayan?
Yeah.
No, I don't even think it was that.
No, it was like 1.8 million.
Oh, that makes it even worse.
It was way less than 6 million. I think it was something like the lowest salary that a designated player can make is 1.6 million. Then they have to be designated as a designated player. I think his salary was proposed to be 1.84. They blew it. They really blew it. They let Messi and Miami and all these coastal teams do whatever they want, but then they let a team in shitty Ohio suffer and not be able to bring back their best player.
As they should.
Damn coastal elitist all the time, infiltrating our sports leagues.
Easy there, Clay Travis.
Do you guys think Mbappe happens? Do you really think Mbappe is going to come to the league?
Is not going to turn down $1 billion for 1 year to come play in fucking New York.
He's not going to get $1 billion to come here. He
was gonna
got
get
that.
$1 billion
from
for Saudi.
That's Saudi. He's not getting $1 billion to go to New York City FC to play at Yankee Stadium. That's not happening.
But it can't happen this year. It can't happen. The MLS window's closed unless they change the.
Nope. The MLS window is closed, but there is a caveat to that free agents can. Free agents can still sign. So if he is able to get out of his contract with PSG and be quote unquote free agent, he can sign with anywhere he wants, including MLS.
This is an empty threat from an Mbappe camp who just wants to get to Real Madrid.
I agree. But at the same time, if that were true, he would be leveraging the Saudi Arabia deal.
Feint the left, throw the head kick. That's what Mbappe is doing.
And I agree with you guys. I agree with you guys, but if I'm on MLS team, yes, it's going to make you instantly better, no doubt. And yes, you're going to get the ratings boost, but you're not going to have him next year. I mean, if you get him now, you get him for the run this year, and then he's gone next year because he's going to go to Real Madrid.
The report that broke is saying that it's a long-term deal is being proposed.
So then the crazy thing is what happens when Messi gets sold back over to Europe, or Mbappe gets sold back over to Europe? Is that going to happen?
Messi won't get sold because of the deal that they have, and there's too many caveats to it. He's going to probably retire as an Inter Miami player, and then he's going to have ownership in the league. Mbappe could come and be sold, and I have no idea how that would work, because what are you going to sell him for? Like $500 million? Like I don't know. I have no idea.
How many times can we slice this Apple Plus pie? Like, if we're going to keep cutting these kind of sweetheart deals to people, how long until Apple is just like, all right, fine, we're not making any money, get over it?
Wait till you hear what they do with college sports. Anyways, let's skip on to the next thing in the soccer world. I didn't pay attention to it because it's at 5 a.m. and I didn't realize that it was that big of a time change. The U.S. women's national team, they lose to Sweden. Yes, Kenny, I didn't realize how big of a time change it was in Australia.
Do we need another geography lesson of where?
No, I know where it was.
Is?
I know where it was.
It's just along the coast of Australia, right?
No,
I think I was the one who said.
I don't even think Adam was online when we had that discussion.
I don't think he was.
I wasn't. I know where it was. I just didn't realize it was that big of a span. I was like, God. All right. It didn't matter anyways.
You mean there's countries outside of America? I do not believe it.
The Hawaiian Islands are also not in line with Mexico. Fun fact.
What?
No.
Do you mean Alaska isn't actually just floating?
No. That's the ice
crazy.
wall.
That's weird. That's where the map drops off. Anyways, the U.S. women's national team completely blows it. Goes to PKs, and they lose by the slimmest of margin on PK you could possibly have. How big is this? I don't even know the question on how I'm going to phrase it. How much does this hurt the U.S. women's team?
It doesn't.
Go on. I request elaboration.
I mean, they're still arguably the best team in the world. They got beat in penalty kicks. Now, you can argue all you want about their performance, and Twillman was on Twitter bitching about how they only scored like one goal in 200 and something minutes of play. I get it. I understand. Sometimes the best teams lose.
They usually score more than one goal across 4 games, though. And usually
Sometimes
at least look
the best
somewhat.
teams lose.
They at least usually look somewhat threatening in attack.
Look, they have their own Greg Berhalter right now who made terrible roster decisions.
Those were horrible rosters.
Why would you bring Megan Rapinoe?
Also,
I want to talk about him in a second.
I was hoping Jesus Ferreira yesterday missed that PK so I could have typed, oh, Greg just told him he's not going to 2026.
We're going to talk about Andonovski in a minute, but Kenny, the U.S. women's national team has not been the best team in the world for almost 2.5 years. They haven't been.
Okay, now that it has been proven.
Yeah, and their record has not shown it. They've struggled against Sweden for years, and they have their number. I'm not convinced that even if they did advance, if they would have been able to get past Japan, because I think right now Japan's the best team in the world. Japan is the best team in the world. Australia actually might be one of the top tier teams in the world. I think they got what they deserved, and it sucks. And I do think this hurts them in the long run because, I mean, normally I say like a rising tide raises all ships, but when it comes to the U.S. soccer, it's not like that. It's the women's team is great or the men's team is great, and it kind of fluctuates. And if the men's team is getting better, this is not a good time for the women's team to falter. This is the first time in their history they have finished less than third at a World Cup. That's not good.
What I was thinking too, like their main talent is drastically declining or gone. I mean, say what you want about Rapinoe, but she was a good soccer player. Let's not put that away from her.
Oh yeah.
You have Alex Morgan is at the end of her run. I mean, you have a whole bunch of big names with high-level talent that are dropping off, and then you fall in a World Cup when you have to make a splash to be able to keep the momentum going. And it's in a World Cup that nobody really watched, especially here. Like, how hard would it be, or how hard was it to have anybody that is in that developmental age group, let's say like 10 to 15 or whatever, that really wants to watch the women's soccer, and they're not able to because it's at 2 a.m. Like that hurts. And then not winning, not getting the publicity off of that hurts them big time.
Yeah, and going into the tournament, everybody was like, oh, their defense is not going to be good. They didn't bring Becky Sauerbrunn. Their center backs aren't going to be able to cut it. They're going to give up a ton of goals. No, they couldn't score goals, which is a problem that nobody saw coming. So is that a one-off? Is that a fluke? I don't think so. I think it might actually be the start of a trend. I think they're relying too heavily on older players, especially kind of at the top of the roster. And the fact that Andonovski waited until something that was like the 78th minute or 79th minute to make a single sub in that game. If it's 0-0 in a knockout game in the 78th minute and you haven't scored a goal and it's tied 0-0, what the fuck are you doing not making any changes? Why? Why do you have all of these players that you brought and you're not playing them? He didn't even make all of his subs of it that were available to him, and they went into extras. So the fact he still has a job is the weirdest U.S. men's national team Berhalter news. It's way too similar. Doesn't make any sense. Fire this dude.
I was going to say, and we're sitting here, the U.S. men's team just re-hired Greg Berhalter.
Yes. Clearly, there's some decision-making happening at the top that just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that Andonovski is still employed with the U.S. Soccer Federation leaves a lot to be desired.
Well, if we're going to pay him equally, they should have to put up with equally shitty coaches. So, I mean, that does kind of check out. That does kind of check out. Also, I feel like it was really buried in the coverage leading up to the World Cup. Alex Morgan hasn't scored for the U.S. women's team in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is alarming. And I was not aware because she is everywhere, pushed everywhere. She dominates in the National Women's Soccer League. And all you hear is how great she is. And I agree that she has been great, but I didn't realize that it's been that long since she actually meaningfully contributed to the team.
Part of that was her layoff, though. Didn't she take a lot more time off after having her daughter than normal?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Her son. I don't remember which one it was.
And I don't think it's all like on her shoulders, though.
Well, no,
because I mean, they were without Rose Lavelle, and she is a game changer for the team. I think she's their best player. She was suspended for yellow card accumulation. So if they have her, are they more threatening? I mean, they did have 11 shots on goal. The keeper made 11 saves. So it's not like they weren't getting in good opportunities. They just didn't put the ball in the back of the net, and now they're going home early.
All right, so let's go from one sport that nobody in America watched to something else that probably not many people in America watched. Guys, I have a question for you. If a tree falls in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, and a golfer somehow shoots 58 on the Live Tour, does anybody even notice?
No, because it's in West Virginia.
We're not going to slander West Virginia, too, right?
Since it's in West Virginia, it depends. Are there any Appalachians trying to shoot you while you're trying to golf? I'm not sure.
Is West Virginia going to be right next to Ohio in our rankings?
I believe they do touch. So
well, good thing that nobody in West Virginia has internet.
Touch?
So
I think they might.
Very
Anyways,
slightly. Gently let us touch our tips.
Kenny Portman, we'll mark that one off. So yes, Bryson DeChambeau shoots a final round, which I'm going to call it final round because it is the last one they play in, but it's the third round of the Live Golf Invitational at Greenbrier, which I'm shocked that they were able to get at Greenbrier. He shoots a 58 in the final round. I don't. It's a big deal to me. I think 58 is very impressive. The only thing that is it is a par 70 course, and
Oh,
I think
God,
70,
what a pussy.
Yeah, I mean it's still impressive. It's still 12 under. But
Shot 58 with a bogey.
He shot 58 with a bogey, and he birdied on 18 to hit 58. I mean, I think it's a big deal. Honestly, I think it secures him a Ryder Cup spot, if anything.
Yeah,
No.
I agree. I think it
No,
does.
we're not doing this.
I think it does.
I think it
I
will.
don't think we're bringing. Well, he did have a good major season. I don't know. I feel like there's better options, and especially going over to Italy, the course isn't really going to be set up bomb and gouge for him. I don't think that he would be an upgrade over, I don't know, say like a Max Homa, who also isn't in the top 6.
What year have we ever sat down and all agreed that all of the Ryder Cup picks all made sense?
Yeah, like ever.
He's going. I think he's gonna go.
I
Would you
think he
take
will
him over
too.
Justin Thomas?
Ooh, right now, yeah, I would. I 100% would.
I mean,
Oh.
Yeah, I would, and the only reason is because DeChambeau is hitting the ball a lot more consistent. Would probably be the best way to put it, and I think I would rather have that than JT struggles. The only time that I would say yes to JT is going to be if I truly cannot find anybody that I can put with Spieth. That's it, because that's your matchup. You have to have those two together. That or. I mean, I guess you can't sit them on Sunday of the Ryder Cup because everybody plays on Sunday. But that would be the time that I would sit Spieth, is if I'm not going to play him in what I guess it's technically 4-ball if they play, or best ball, one of the two.
I don't know. They like to call it dumb names.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up. But I mean, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just going to say, by the way, West Virginia and Ohio do touch. They border each other. So that makes sense. Some of the Ohioans are trickling over.
They just sneak over. Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, golf.
That's unfortunate. But yeah, I think it gets him into the Ryder Cup. It'll be interesting to see who he does get paired with, because there's a lot of guys that do not like him on that team, which Cameron could prove your point that you can't bring him. But still, I mean, to shoot a 58 is a 58. The comment that he made, though, was absolutely weird afterwards. Somebody asked him, how do you... Yeah, I know. Because how do you get into the mindset to be able to shoot a 58? And he goes, well, it starts with, you just got to go to your local course and you shoot from the red tees and shoot way up front. And when you're shooting 60s every time, then let's move up. Now we go to the next one. And then when you're shooting 60s every time in that's the mentality that you need. And it was literally like listening to Billy Madison ramble about the puppy who lost his way. And I was like, what the hell is going on in this conversation?
Yeah, the start of that made sense.
Tees?
It started to make sense and then just went downhill.
It did.
That's
I was
not
like,
how
what?
you get better at golf. That's how you add 20 pounds to your bench press.
To him, those are one and the same.
It's the same thing for Bryson.
Do you know what it would do, though? I would not be stuck playing fucking 6-hour rounds on a $50 Muni course in St. Peter anymore.
That is a great point.
True.
Hey. I'm going to stop you right there. We're going to stop the St. Peter's golf course slander right here and right now.
I like the course.
Okay.
It's not
I love the
$60
course, but
worth.
my God. Yeah.
And it takes forever.
Stop the slander.
None of our listeners have any idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, we'll make it popular. And then it's going to take 7 hours to play a round of golf there.
First
We're
of all,
sponsored
Adam,
by them.
You
We
should
need
never
to put them
you
to
should
the
never
website.
pay $50 there, because you know who you do. You call Jack and you say, "Hey man, I want to play this
Fuck is
weekend."
Jack?
You don't worry about it. You don't know Jack. You don't.
Well,
get
how
to
does
know
that do me
Jack.
any good?
Oh no, Jack!
That's a very good point.
That's all right. I can play Eagle Springs for free.
Oh, that's about how much it's worth.
Still in better shape than St. Peter's.
Bullshit.
I wouldn't stand on that argument, Cameron.
Well, it depends on if St. Peter's is flooded or not.
This is true.
Tonight
if
it was
you
a
do
little
need
rough.
If you need a boat on 1 and 2, it's going to be in rough shape.
Side note, I gotta tell. So we're playing. It's cart path only. Charlie just like shanks the ball. I'm like, dude, just
Hazel
drive
rocket?
out. Just drive out there. Nobody's gonna see us. No, this lady is pointing at his ball. We drive up and Charlie's like, "That's mine." And she goes, "I was pointing at it. It's cart path only. That's why I pointed." I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch."
We had a guy on Thursday night that drove across, and for everybody that's when I say this is not going to have any idea because nobody knows that listens, drove across 17 and 6 to take a picture of a downed tree. And he actually took a picture of the tree, and then he took a selfie of it, and then drove back across. And he looked at me, and just waved at me, and I go, "Was it worth putting ruts in the fairway to take a picture?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was." It's like, what the fuck?
Miranda Lambert is rolling over in her grave watching that guy take 9 different pictures.
The tree yelled at him for taking a selfie up close.
I just want to let all of our listeners know that during our rundown, we cut a segment because it was too local.
We did. And now we're talking about something that's literally 5 miles from all of us except Sean.
But while we're bitching about municipalities, fuck BMAC.
Oh, good God.
Okay, anyways, we're going to get off of that. But speaking of a sport where you hit a ball with a bat, I was right about the Angels. And Cameron, you're going to sit here and listen to me why I think the Angels are done and they should have traded Shohei Ohtani. Currently, the Angels have not won a game.
Hold on. Wait. Did you just say you were wrong?
No, he said he was right.
I'm right.
That's not true because you said they need to go for it because they're only 3.5 games back.
Yeah.
What kind of Trump bullshit is this?
I said they should have just traded Ohtani a long time ago.
You gaslighting motherfucker.
Pull the tape.
And I'm cueing the clip right here.
I'm pretty sure I was right, and I said they should have traded Ohtani.
I think
can't wait to see how you
I think
splice
he
that
is
in there.
right, and he argued that they should trade Ohtani, but then after I said that they shouldn't, he tried to backtrack on it.
No.
And I don't know if we got the full clip of
No,
him
we got a
backtracking.
flip
They should have traded Ohtani.
He tripped
I
over
also
his
said they
feet
should have
while he was
traded
trying to
Trout.
pedal backwards. You know, those old BMX bikes that don't turn on the brakes. And he didn't know what to do.
I said they
after
should have
that.
traded Ohtani and Trout, and they have not won a game since the trade deadline.
You did not say they should have traded Trout. Now you're just
I
adding
did
shit
too
in
say they
for
should have
Trout.
traded Trout.
Yes, I
feel
believe
like
we called him
I
an
did
idiot
trade
for
Trout.
this.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think we did call you an idiot. Yeah.
I would have traded both of those.
They're now 10
He's
and a
like
half
making
games
a
back.
trade. No, they're 7 back.
No, they're 10 and a half
of
game
the
backs
wild
of the,
card.
They're
of
10
the
and a half
division.
of the division
Exactly.
and
Seven.
7 and a
wild
half
card.
of the wild card.
Exactly.
But the wild card contains 2 teams that are in front of them in their division, so they're well behind in their division.
And they've
They're also
lost.
stuck behind the Yankees and the Red Sox, who are both ass.
Well, the
So they
Yankees
can jump
aren't ass.
those.
But they're not going to jump the Astros or the Mariners. Maybe the Mariners.
Maybe the Mariners.
That's a maybe.
They're not
Yankees
jumping the
would-
Blue Jays.
The Yankees would
Not
actually be
jumping the
good
Indians.
if the Yankees would actually be good if Stanton would just give any effort whenever he's running.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
He's trying so hard.
That was so funny. He was just stuck in cruise control, and then the ball gets there, and he just stopped.
Dude,
Okay,
can
so-
you guys imagine the Ollie Marmol reaction if Stanton did that on the Cardinals? Golly.
He'd probably be leading off for us.
No, because he'd be put through the drywall when Stan picks him out and throws him like a ragdoll that he is.
Well, because Tyler O'Neill couldn't have done that?
Back to the
Tyler O'Neill's
back,
like 5'7".
back to
Yeah,
the
he's a short
Angels.
guy.
Back to the Angels. They've lost 6 in a row, but in their division, the Seattle Mariners, who have now passed them up, have won 5 in a row, and the leading Texas Rangers have won 6 in a row as well. So they've somehow gotten worse. Everyone else in their division has essentially gotten better. Non-trade remorse, is that a thing? Are they completely regretting that they didn't trade these pieces? Didn't they trade Ohtani?
Can I just say the Rangers have a plus 170 run differential,
They're good,
and
man.
they don't even have Jacob deGrom. that's
pretty
That's
crazy.
incredible.
And they added 2, front-end pitchers, 2 potential aces
Yeah.
at the break. They're good. They might
For
actually
sure.
do it this year.
Looking at CBS, the Angels have a 1.1% chance of making the playoffs right now. And less than a 1% chance of winning their division.
It's going to be so worth not making the playoffs and then watching Ohtani walk out the door.
Yeah, but you have to
December.
try. You have to try and do whatever you can to keep him if you're convinced that you can do it. I don't
No,
think it
you
was
don't.
the wrong
You-
move. I think
you
you
do
have
what's
to try
best
and
for your
keep him at all
franchise.
costs.
No, you
Fuck
do
the
what's best
franchise.
for the
It's LA.
franchise.
No one at LA cares. The only reason that they're at that game is to see Ohtani. You got to try and keep him.
The Angels barely play in LA.
Yeah, it's a great point too. No, you have to do what's best for the franchise. The haul that they could have gotten would have been so much more worth it, and it would have been an easy sell to your fan base to say, "Hey, we tried. We're not going to be able to re-sign him. We could lose him for nothing, other than what maybe a draft pick. You get a first-round compensation draft pick. Woo, that always works out. You have to trade him at that point. That team is not going to make the playoffs.
Normally, I agree with Kenny, and because I think he was the one who said a few weeks ago that you have to go with the known commodity, that you can't rely on prospects, because your whole thing with the Rosarena and Alcantara and all the other ones. But in this instance, he is leaving. He's not going to re-sign. You have to get something for him.
You're going to get anybody's top 5 prospects, or not all 5, but you're going to get at least 2. Yeah. Like you're not. You may have gotten all 5, depending on which franchise you trade from. I mean, the Blue Jays were giving everybody away to the Cardinals, which is great, I guess. But you're going to get at least 2 top 5 prospects. Like that's guaranteed. You're probably going to get somebody that has MLB talent right away. I mean, that is probably better off in the long run than getting nothing.
And in a division where you play Texas, who got better not just this year but in the future. Right. Houston is Houston. They're going to be good for a while. Seattle is getting incrementally better throughout the years. Everyone is passing you up besides Oakland. Because Oakland's not even going to have a baseball team soon. But everyone is passing you up, and you just blew an opportunity to potentially play winning baseball in 5 years from now.
I still think they made the right move. I think Trout's going to come back. I think they're going to be battling until the last week of the season to get in.
The only thing that is going to make that the right move, Cameron, is if Ohtani does not actually have this whatever finger cramp issue that he has that's keeping him from pitching, and he can somehow catch up to Judge's pace of 62 home runs.
That is the only way they're going to
keep it.
No.
It's really tough to grip a baseball.
Well, now your back's going to
hurt. He can still swing the bat and hit the ball freaking country miles. So it doesn't matter. But if he's able to compete and catch up to Judge's pace, that will put the butts in the seats, because then they have something to market. And if they're able to get him to pitch, now you're talking about him possibly going for the double, triple crown. That would be incredible.
The Angels always have something to market. They've had Trout. They've had Pujols. They just are mismanaged as an organization completely. I don't want
Clearly, we just talked about that.
And they're under new ownership.
Well, no, they're not. Art Moreno still owns the team.
He pulled that back. He's like, no, I'm going to wait and be the idiot that holds on to Ohtani and gets rid of him for nothing. He should have sold that team when they were hot, and that was last winter.
While we're talking baseball, I would like to tangent. Did you guys hear about the Orioles announcer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
God. What
a
horrible situation that was.
Okay, so Kevin Brown is the Orioles announcer. As
not the ex-pitcher.
I know. I thought it was him. I'm like, why is he broadcasting Orioles games? It's some guy who looks like he's 12. Quote, the Orioles, have won more games against them, the Tampa Bay Rays, this season than they had the last 2 combined, and apparently was suspended by team ownership indefinitely.
How soft do you have to be to suspend a guy and essentially fire a guy for literally just stating a fact?
Even better, I think the only reason that he was on air doing it was because the other guy that was supposed to read it refused to be on air because the Orioles made a deal where they can only wear Oriole branded polos during the on-air broadcast. You can't wear a suit or anything like that. It has to be an Oriole polo. And the other guy was like, I'm not wearing an Oriole polo. I'm wearing a suit.
That's dumb. Why would you not wear an Oriole polo when you work for the Orioles?
So, like, every time they go to a live shot, he's not in it?
Yeah. At least that's what I read. I'm not totally sure if that's it, but they changed to what they're supposed to do, that all of their broadcasts have to have Oriole branded merchandise on it.
Listen, these franchises that are Charmin soft are ridiculous. If this guy loses his job for simply stating the fact, he should own the Orioles. He might, because he's probably going to sue them into oblivion.
Yeah, he's going to sue them no matter what happens here. And honestly, he's going to get a job instantly. Wherever he gets let go, somebody's going to hire him on and say, hey, guess what? we're going to take you, and we're going to broadcast the crap out of the fact that we'll take you, and you did nothing wrong, and you're going to be our broadcaster.
He was referencing a stat from the last couple of years when the Orioles were tanking on purpose. They were losing on purpose. All he did was read a stat about the fact that they lost on purpose, and he didn't even come out and say that. He just said that they have a losing record against Tampa in Tampa. That was it, right? That was basically it? Maybe if you don't want him to say that, don't fucking lose to Tampa.
And don't put the graphic on your broadcast.
Yes. Are we firing the graphics guy? What about the producer? The guy in the truck, the stat guy who compiled everything? How far does this go? The usher probably had some hand in it. The guy up in 312 has been hawking peanuts talking about how bad the team is for years.
It's a conspiracy.
This is Pepe Silva level. Keep on going, Cameron.
He's not going off the rails with a lady going, the pilot's name was Holy Fook and We Too Low and Bing Dang Ow. We're talking about a guy that read a stat, a truthful stat, and he got fired. I don't think he's going to end up getting fired for it.
And there's a drive by Castellanos to left field.
He's going to do it. The Orioles are going to come out against the Reds and issue an apology, and Castellanos is going to hit a home run.
Imagine being this guy, like you get off air and you're like, oh, okay, I can't wait until the commercial break ends. Wait, what? I'm suspended? for what?
Like now?
All the Orioles said is, we don't comment on personal manners. Get the hell out of here. Ugh.
The personal manners?
Matters.
I think it's pretty public.
People are, God, that's insane that's it. At least we don't have to deal with that, right, guys? Could be way worse.
Well, what have the Cardinals fans been dealing with, Adam?
That is.
Do you want to do your rant now, or should we save that for our listeners for another day?
Hold on.
I mean,
hold on. If you are a Cardinals fan and you have been like, oh, it's just a bad season, blah, 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 blah. They have lost the series to the Rockies for the first time since 2009.
Yes.
I'll repeat that. I was in college the last time they lost.
Where were you at college at?
Off after this.
Yeah, Kenny, where'd you go to college at?
Your mic.
I'm not going to tell you. I've almost been removed from college for 20 years. You lost the series to the Rockies. Come on, guys.
With Austin Gomber pitching. We traded him for a bag of balls.
Technically,
I don't actually know what deal.
Technically,
we traded him for Narl.
and $50 million.
Yeah.
We got
the $50 million was the big part.
That's the keeper.
Adam, are you going to grace us with your Cardinal rant, or do you want to save that for another day?
I mean, I can go. It's already a week past the deadline, but Kenny's probably going to be furious off of this. Maybe not. I'm not sure. The one thing that pissed me off in the entire thing was all of the people saying that the Cardinals got nothing out of this trade. They got plenty for what we would have given up or what we would have lost. I felt like every conversation after those trades were made was, we didn't get enough. We didn't get enough. Why do we wait so long and we didn't get enough? And it wasn't, I don't think many of us really said it, but everything you heard about on the radio was, well, we could have got more for this. We didn't fucking trade Max Scherzer. We didn't trade Justin Verlander. Our best trade was Jordan Hicks. That truly was the best trade player we could have traded. And the nice thing is, I would not be shocked if he comes back next year. It's going to be a ridiculous contract that they do, but that would be your go-to. That's the one guy that you bring back. And then they're like, oh, we should have traded Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill is healthy. Let him fucking play, and he's got another year. And if he does this next year, you have a way better team in the outfield than you would have before. To me, it almost feels like the Cardinals can never be right unless they win a World Series, which to me is bullshit. Yes, you're going to win World Series, and yes, we should feel a little bit privileged because we do have all the championships, and we're second to the Yankees. But they are having a bad year, Kenny, and they did lose to the Rockies. But,
hold on, fuck you.
No, I wasn't turning it back.
Just because you're okay with being a loser this year,
that means nothing. That means nothing.
It means everything. This is sports. This is sports. This is why you played the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, that's whatever that coach said, right? You play to win the game.
You also have to remember, that was Herm Edwards, and if you ever forget that, that's very shame on you. You also have to remember that going into this year, everybody said that the Cardinals season relies on blank being healthy and blank playing well and blank doing this and blank doing that. It was never, this team's a great team. This team should win a World Series. It was never that. Kenny, we were relying on Lars Nootbaar.
Come on, time out. Hold on. No. You cannot sit there and actually believe that nobody said this wasn't a great offense. Everybody said this team needed pitching. And what did they do?
Oh, yeah, no, it's the pitching for sure.
And didn't get a damn thing.
Yeah, and again, that's the same thing that everybody was saying, that if Michaelis is healthy, if we get a good year from Flaherty, if Wainwright stays healthy and somehow doesn't act like he's 40 years old, like, that was a whole bunch of ifs. It wasn't just hitting. The team is still hitting. I think they're a top 10 hitting team. But it is disappointing. I'm not saying that it's not, but in the end, it's 1 year.
But to say this team wasn't going to win a World Series is a little ridiculous to me, because they're coming off of a 93-win season. To expect a 93-win team from the previous year.
They had no pitching.
You say that in hindsight.
Correct.
I mean,
someone go pull the tape from our MLB preview.
Was hindsight. I know, we're all wrong. We were all wrong on the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, yes. For sure. We were all wrong in that situation. We also thought that the NL Central was going to be hot garbage, and it still kind of is. But
wow.
But here, let's talk about the prospects that they got back. So the best one that they got back is really Prieto. Am I saying that right? Cesar Prieto. He slots in right now as their number 9 prospect.
Okay, so
is that good enough? You think that's good enough? They got a top organizational number 9 prospect for everything that they traded. Everybody else was
no. They got a couple guys higher than that. They had I forget who the other kid was. They had a 19-year-old kid. Yeah, we added 3 into our top 10. I think the lowest one was like 20.
I want to
MLB.com
has
him as the top.
Is Adam goes, all these fans say we didn't get anything in return, but they don't understand that sometimes that other teams have better farm systems.
Oh, for sure. The Braves.
So we don't understand that aspect of it. And when you get the 17th best pitcher or whatever he was from Toronto, but all of a sudden he slots in top 10, like, that doesn't compute with people. I forgive them for doing that, for not understanding that, though, because guess what? Nobody gives a shit about minor league baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Including MLB.
Major leagues, yeah. They don't care.
I have constantly said over and over again, I knew Mason Wynn and Jordan Walker, and that should be considered impressive because I actually knew somebody who played in Memphis. I don't know anybody else. Most of your average fans don't know anybody else. So they don't understand that sometimes a 17 is actually greater than a, 10, right?
But I do think, you look at what the team has in the pipeline, and not that I think that it's a saving grace by any means, but if you get one hit out of Tinkens, McGreevy, Garcefo, I'll even still throw Liberatore in there, and Thompson. You get one hit out of those 5, that's a win. And then you figure one of those guys is going to go to the pen, at least.
My ultimate problem with this is Thompson strikes out, or is it? Yeah, Thompson strikes out, 8 and 4 innings or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Brad Thomas today on ESPN 101, they think he's a bullpen guy. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, and that's where I think, I've said this a few times, that we're going to lose Randy Flores, and that's going to be where it kills this franchise. Randy Flores will not let that happen, but we're going to lose him, and it's going to absolutely tear apart this franchise because beyond him, they don't know how to manage prospects. It's not his call to put a top prospect into whatever role they put him in. I mean, that's why I said this a few weeks ago. When you have a pitcher that comes up in Liberatore and you say, hey, we're going to have you start games, and you have him start, and then you put him in the bullpen, and then you say, hey, guess what? We're going to have you start a game again, and then we're going to put you back in the bullpen, and then we're going to send you down to Memphis because you're not doing well enough, or we're not getting you the innings, and then you're going to become a starter, but hey, guess what? We're going to put you back in the bullpen when you come back up here. It totally messes them up, and I was hoping that that's what we would have got out of it.
And yet, you made a smart-ass comment when I said yesterday they let a player get hurt. That's letting a player
You
get
can't
hurt.
let a player get hurt. You saying that they let a player get hurt. He
That
is
is
fully
letting a
capable
player
of,
get hurt.
No, letting a player get hurt would be putting you behind an offensive line of Swiss cheese and get run over by Jadeveon Clowney. That is letting you get hurt. You
Joe Burrow
can't
would
let
like a
somebody
word.
get.
Yes.
You didn't let him get hurt though. Like saying you let a guy get hurt is an absolutely idiotic.
Okay, you
comment.
put
He
a guy
got
into a
hurt.
greater situation where his body is more likely to get hurt.
And what if he would have played here and got hurt? Would you have said the same thing?
Probably if he was going back from starter to reliever, starter to reliever, starter to
He
reliever.
pulled an
It's
ass
the-
muscle.
It's the same thing that happened to Alex Reyes.
He pulled an ass muscle.
But you don't get to, you don't get to
Blew out
say
his
that.
elbow 4 times.
You don't get to say that. He still got hurt.
Yeah,
Adam, what muscle did he pull?
it was his ass. His glutes were not activating, as Tiger Woods would say. You can't let a player does not get let hurt. A player got hurt. Yeah, unless you're running on the AstroTurf that all these soccer players are getting let hurt on, then that's the only way it happens. But you get hurt.
Speaking of soccer, there is some breaking news that we feel like we need to mention. Per sources, the MLS is going to add a 4th designated player spot for the 2024 season, as well as increase the cap space to $7 million.
What's cap space now?
Not $7 million.
Nobody knows.
What would 7 million put us at? Like the top of the Brazilian league? Like,
That would put us, close to on par to the Brazilian league with the River Plate and all those.
That's fucking
Well, that's
crazy.
Argentinian, but yeah, same thing.
I mean, the Messi effect again, just slowly popping up and trickling in.
To me, that is not enough. That is a little weak.
No, go wide open, full throttle. Fuck it.
Hold on.
What is?
Hold on. Time out. You're going to complain about that, and the NHL salary cap has raised like a whole $32 in the last 6 years.
No,
Yes.
it was actually negative.
How dare you? How dare you?
Does the NHL
has
have
players
designated
being paid by
player?
4 teams.
Does the NHL have designated player rules and homegrown rules and
about GAM
under
and TAM?
22 designated player rules and GAM and TAM and all the other ones that are just so fucking stupid? Does the
I'm
NHL
not
have all
saying
those?
it's not stupid. I'm saying you got a gift here. You have another DP. That sounds a whole lot sexier than it really is. And you're going to
That's
look
like-
a gift horse in the mouth.
That's like expecting a PlayStation for Christmas and getting an extra pair of socks instead.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate the socks. I'm gonna wear them, but I'm not gonna be happy about it.
That's
You got a
wanting a
Sega
PlayStation
Genesis.
5 and getting a Sega Genesis.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Oh, it's like going to New York thinking you're getting a PlayStation 5, and then everything kind of falls apart.
No, it's thinking that you're going to Hawaii, and then that plane goes to Ohio.
There it is. That
On
is
your-
probably more accurate.
On your way to play Vanderbilt in week 1. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Any more final thoughts before we go ahead and get out of here? Because we've run the gambit today. Did we have any soccer thoughts? Any baseball thoughts? Any golf thoughts? What do you guys got?
US
College
is
football
winning the Ryder
cannot
Cup.
get here soon enough.
God, I can't wait for college football.
Which we do have some stuff coming out soon for college football and for professional football for the NFL. We're going to be doing breakdowns of every team and the division. So stay tuned for that.
I hope next Monday we're going to have some nice college football news.
And if you
Well,
want
we'll
to
see.
follow this news as it breaks, you can follow us at PodRideThePine on Twitter, at pod_RideThePine on Instagram, or on YouTube, where you can watch, like, subscribe, leave comments, interact with us. I believe, Kenny, what's going on the talk?
You can find our shorts on TikTok. It's at RTP Kenny. It's not an underscore, it's a hyphen. So yeah.
Did you have to describe that to somebody?
You would be surprised how stupid people are.
When he's Kenny is describing that and he's talking about TikTok, all I see is that GIF in the head is like, "Hello, fellow teenagers." That's all I see.
I'm not joking. I am dead serious. When I signed up for TikTok, because I'm like, okay, if we're going to be on this, I got to get on this and see what this is about. 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, I I don't know what this is. This is overwhelming. I have to delete this app, and I deleted the app. I'm like, I'm
You
done.
made more of an effort than I did.
It was so bad.
I love TikTok. Everybody should enjoy it.
Well, I just
All right.
appreciate you sending us the videos, so you keep doing that.
Yes,
That message is
appreciate that.
endorsed by Xi Jinping.
All right, we're getting out of here.
Xi Jinping. But hey, you tried.
All right, guys, have a good night.
See ya.